Welcome back to the My Community Made YouTube channel. My name is Edward Fisher Jr. I'm the owner and developer of My Community Made. In this monthly update, I'm going to go over some of the statistics about what's happening on the My Community Made platform, as well as go over some of the website updates and changes that we're making to the platform for the month of January, as well as what we'll be doing in the near future. So first thing I like to do with each one of these videos is go over the search trends. So the top trending searches for January is 2023, 2024, crochet, jewelry, and earrings. I'm not quite sure what drives sort of those year name searches, but they are very popular. For website updates, the biggest one for the month of January is that we reworked the entire front-end code base, so all of the CSS on the site has been redone. This is something that, all websites have to do on an as-needed basis. What happens with a website the size of My Community Made is we're constantly adding new website packages and new code for new features, and every once in a while we just need to go through and refactor all of that code to make sure that there's not too much extra sort of code sitting around that doesn't need to be there or is getting in the way of other processes. With this rebuild, we were able to clear out about 3,000 extra lines of CSS that were no longer needed. And in addition to resulting in a smaller style sheet size, which helps with load speed, this change also brings down what's called CLS, or cumulative layout shift. And this is important for improving the SEO rankings of each one of those pages on the site. That CLS rating is what Google uses to sort of track our elements on the screen moving around as the page is loading. So if you have a very large CSS sheet, as that computer is loading the CSS and making changes, it might be moving around various elements of the site, and we don't want that to be happening because it can look to Google as though there's something not super well optimized going on behind the scenes. For instance, what Google's hoping to do with that CLS measurement is make sure that you're not getting bombarded with ads the moment you open a website on a mobile phone. So these changes brought our average CLS down to 0.001, which is exactly within the range of what Google is looking for. So in addition to having a faster site, it has a smoother loading setup. We implemented some new design features in January as well. Probably the best one. We implemented some new design features in January as well, one of those being the new gallery display for single product pages. So those of you that have shopped on the site before, you might know that when vendors upload multiple photos for their products, they kind of showed up as a blob right underneath the product image. We've cleaned that up. Now we have a nice slider. The image gets replaced each time as you click next or previous. And it also reduces the number of images that are loaded as one. So some products, our original design was for about 3 to 4 images. Some products have 6 to 9 images. What the slider does is it ensures that it's only ever loading about 4 to 5 images at a time, which really reduces the load speed. Another change that we made is on the homepage for the category layout. So previously we were only showing 4 categories, sort of at random based on the most popular categories on the site. Now we're showing about 6 or so, and they're in a line, just sort of an updated styling of that category layout. It looks much cleaner. Something you'll notice as well is those featured products at the top of the page are no longer a slider. Now the featured products are shown in a very similar way to the other shop layouts as well. The advantage to this is we can pull out a little bit more JavaScript. We don't need to have quite as many packages of code loaded onto the front end of the site. And it also has a cleaner styling and look. Now, one of the most important changes made to the site this month is only going to be relevant for vendors. One of the biggest frustrations that new vendors run into is when they try to upload a product and they don't include a weight. We don't actually upload that product. That product kind of got deleted. The reason for that is because we, at one point early on in the My Community Made site, had a lot of products that had no weight listed. So when we eventually added our USPS automated shipping calculations, it would fail, and it would always show the default shipping rate because there was no way for USPS to come up with the calculation for. However, the way that we went about fixing that, it wasn't very appealing because if you made a mistake and left that shipping option without weights, you would just end up losing all of your products. So while the products on the site were more easy to calculate shipping for, uploading new products was incredibly painful. So the new update that we just added in January makes it so that now if your shipping is not included, if you don't include a shipping weight on the product, then we don't allow you to submit the product listing. So rather than losing all of the information that you've added, it won't allow you to sort of get that failure notice. It will keep you from uploading the product so that you can add your weights before you submit that product. Also included in that vendor update for the weights, we've also removed some unnecessary fields from there to sort of make the product listing experience a little bit faster. Some of those fields include the geolocation field, which is irrelevant for 99.9% of vendors. That geolocation field just makes sure that you're copying the geolocation fields from your store to the individual product, and it's on by default. There aren't any scenarios I can think of where a vendor should be selling a product where the product is in a different geolocation. We made another change on the back end to sort of protect vendors from unwanted spam. We pushed an update that prevents unregistered users on the site from being able to submit a product inquiry. So the product inquiry form is meant mostly for vendors who sell furniture or sell custom products where there's some back and forth needed between the customer and the vendor. What was happening is that bots, I'm assuming bots, were submitting product inquiries without ever creating an account. So we're submitting product inquiries automatically for irrelevant services that most vendors weren't interested in. So the simple change that we made is just before you can submit a product inquiry at all, you have to have a My Community Made account and be logged in. And this is similar to what most other sites require as well. If you have any questions about anything I've talked about in regards to updates to the site for last month, if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see added to the site for February, be sure to list that in the comments below. If at any time you run into any trouble, you can always reach me at support@mycommunitymade.com. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll have another update for you next month.